Recently, a Dutch woman has been the source of controversy because she consented to be euthanized due to her mental health issues. Namely, she suffered with severe depression. This happened in the Netherlands, where euthanasia has been legal since 2002, and she passed on the 22nd. Now, what people take contention with is, besides her mental health issues, she was a perfectly healthy 29-year-old. There have been no mention of any physical ailments she may have suffered. She seemed physically fit. So why allow someone who still had a lot more life left to live to be euthanized? Well, this article from The Sun says, under Dutch law, a patient qualifies for an assisted death after they have exhausted all reasonable treatments and can prove that they have unbearable suffering without a prospect of improvement. It's not like she walked into a clinic one day and said, I am horribly depressed, I have no desire to live any further, please finish me off already, and doctors just blindly complied with her request. No, there is a rigorous process that includes ensuring the patient really is in constant pain and there is no chance at the quality of life improving, the patient remaining firm in their decision over time to receive euthanasia, and there must be consultation with more than one medical professional to confirm that quality of life won't improve. And this woman did receive extensive treatment to see if there was any way to alleviate her suffering, to no avail. It got to the point where professionals said, we have exhausted through all treatment you could possibly receive, and if your condition still has not improved, there isn't much we could really do for you. Most people do agree that if one is suffering with terminal illness that is the cause of unbearable pain every day, there is no chance of a better quality of life. They have no chance of survival on top of that, so what is the point in prolonging their suffering? But people tend to be more dismissive when it comes to mental health issues. Oh, you're suffering with depression? Well, eventually things in your life will get better. You'll be in a different frame of mind, and you won't have the same ideations that you do currently. I'm not saying that every case of depression is a hopeless one, and that everyone who is depressed should just be euthanized. I myself am depressed, never to the point where I've had any ideation to take my own life, though. And I don't think I've ever suffered with depression as severe as this woman seemed to. So who am I, a total outsider who probably can't even begin to comprehend the kind of mental pain she went through? Someone who has never met this woman, have no clue what her life was like, and lives in a completely different part of the globe than where she lived, to tell her that she needs to continue with her suffering because of, I don't know, some sanctity of life bullshit. The articles I've read about this story have mentioned that she suffers with trauma, the source of her trauma never being revealed, understandably so, as that is a deeply personal matter that was only the business between her and her loved ones. But some people can be so scarred to the point where no amount of drugs or therapy can help because the circumstances that led them to their current frame of mind can't be changed. Just because your pain and suffering may be on a mental level, that doesn't make it any less real. Mental health can be an agonizing weight on one's shoulders, and if severe enough, can completely hinder their way of life and prevent them from functioning. Only the one living with the emotional scars can understand how unbearable they may be to live with. That's why I think everyone should be entitled to healthcare that would allow them to receive extensive treatment for their mental health issues, and only when they have exhausted through every type of possible treatment that had the potential to ameliorate their suffering, to no avail, then you can make the informed decision to be euthanized. I'm not one of those people who thinks you should have the ability to be euthanized for any reason at all, with no questions asked. But if you've tried and tried and tried to rid of, or at the very least ease the emotional pain, but you're just not seeing any improvement, every day is completely unbearable with this emotional pain, at that point I think you have the perfect right to say, I can't deal with this anymore, I don't want to deal with this anymore, I want to end this as peaceful and humane as possible, because at the end of the day, it is their life, it is their decision. If they have made a serious effort to improve conditions in their life and it's just not working out, why should they be forced to stick around if they really don't want to? Assisted suicide would also help loved ones brace for the death of the person. I'm not saying it would erase any pain they feel surrounding the death, obviously not, but at the very least it would spare them of the horror of one day walking in on their loved one hanging from a noose, or dead on the floor from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, or anything terrible of the sort. And they would also, on top of that, know about the suffering their loved one is going through. A lot of suicides are a complete shock to the loved ones feelings of the person who died. They can talk to the person about their issues, let them know how much they matter to loved ones, to at the very least see if they can be dissuaded from their decision. I was watching a video last week from Kyle Kalinske, Secular Talk, talking about this situation, which is where I got the idea to make this video. And he said something in the video that I felt was really off the mark and tasteless. It is by definition selfish to leave behind your loved ones when you take your own life. I am so fucking tired of this stupid talking point because you do not know what it is like to live in the shoes of someone who suffers with severe depression. Their emotional scars may be so unbearable to the point where they may consider what their loved ones may feel in wake of their death and may even be aware that they will be distraught over their death, but they're at a point where they just cannot live with the emotional pain that they have. Every day is a struggle for them, and I actually think it is selfish to say that they had to continue to live with said pain because other people who probably had no comprehension of what they were going through wanted them to stick around. Again, this doesn't mean that I think every person who has depression or trauma or mental health issues of the sort is a hopeless case that we should just give up on and euthanize. But if one goes through rigorous treatment and they may even make significant changes in their life in hopes of improving their condition, and their condition shows no improvement or even gets worse, and they get to the point where their suffering is so unbearable that they can't live with this suffering anymore, then I think they should have the option to end their own life humanely should they choose to. At the end of the day, the trajectory of a human life is dictated solely by the one in control of said life, and if their life is consumed by nothing but suffering and pain, and there is no prospect of a better life after rigorous treatment and life changes, then I think they have the perfect right to say they want to check out. Just give them a peaceful and humane way to do so, as opposed to the other horrendous alternatives. Again, mental pain is real and can be too much for a person to bear, just like physical pain. More people need to learn this. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.